Hello, we are here at TradingView using TradingView, looking at the SPY. Hello, I'm a human. And I have been developing a method to find trends in the SPY because I cannot do what this guy is
Pink
doing.
and form a liquidity
All
road
right,
trip that
I cannot I cannot do this. So I make the tools do it for me. And how do I do that? Well, we go to the pre-market. We set an anchored VWAP on the first candle of the day. We grab a fib channel, anchor it to the top of the candle, anchor it to the VWAP at the open candle, let it close, let the first candle close, and then anchor it. And we have our downward channel. We repeat the process for the other way around. Bottom of the candle, VWAP at the open candle, then top of the first candle, and that's our upper channel. Okay, so that's essentially all there is to it. Now, there are other ways to do this that you can expand upon, right? And one way that you could do it is you could go from the first candle to the VWAP at close, right? To the bottom candle. And that could be a channel, and all you have to do is extend to left, right? So let's try again on from the bottom of the candle. And there we go. We got another channel. So this is a possible thing that can happen. It's very unlikely, I would say. So let's talk about today, though. No one cares about yesterday, right? So let's get rid of this VWAP and get rid of this VWAP because I already have it. So let's talk about today's channel. So today's channels, we have a descending channel like so, right? And another descending channel like so. So we have two descending channels on today with an area in between, right there. That this is what I call a no-go zone, to where I do not think price will be stuck in this zone long, and if it is, it should pick a direction one way or the other, and it should not end here at the end of the day, right? At least from my thought. From my thought, on a daily trend perspective, where the channels dissect, that's a no-go zone. So you're either in the bottom or you're in the top, and it could travel through the no-go zone. That's how I feel about that area. So let's turn off one of the channels. So what do we see? So before so we're just using the anchored VWAP, remember. Where is it? Not that one. There we go. So we only have this first candle, and we can see that price action today respected this line right here, this area right here. It really liked that area, and it broke up above the channel, but wasn't there for long. Broke back in, and then broke up the other way. And where did it go? It entered the other channel. So both downward channels today, and they were both down, negative channels. But that's what happened for today. So these fib channels have found price action. You could add more lines if you want to your fib channel, but this it finds price action without you having to figure out where the price action is going to happen, right? So you can couple this with a stochastic, just a simple stochastic. When you see a cross up, that at the bottom, that could be a sign to go long. When you see a cross down at the top, that could be a sign to go short, right? And depending on where you are in the channel, you could perhaps profit on these cross ups or cross downs throughout the day. Now, this is the 3-minute chart, so Some of these moves might be instant, some of these moves might take a while, right? So we can see we do have a big gigantic candle that came out of nowhere, but look where it stopped. Of course, um, if you were tracking this, we expected it to stop here at this fib line for support, and it did so. So when we got back to this fib line, it was support, right? So it turned into support again. And this green line was resistance, and then it turned into support, right? So, but that's just in between the stochastic as you're traveling. So you want to keep your positioning to the cross ups or the cross downs, and at the extremes of the stochastic, I would say. You do not want to play in the middle of the stochastic. If you're in the middle, just wait. Just wait. As you can see, there's a whole lot of noise right here. Now, people will tell you how much they profit on these singular candles in and out of the day. It's very difficult to believe them, if you ask me. They're literally gambling on single candles, right? From 590.23 to 589.16. They are in and out. So it's very difficult to want to believe anything you see on the internet. So if we apply one of our previous channels, right there we go, we can see that the previous day channel that was respected was also respected the next day. So we have this area being respected, and of course this red line being respected all day, and this bottom channel line being respected all day. So this would be considered overextended, and you would expect price action to move back into the channel. This area is supposed to be overextended, right? And you would expect price action to move back into the channel from the previous day channel. So you can turn channels off and on as you wish. You know, it's a very simple method, I think, to find trends in the chart without having to figure out trends in the chart. It's no mess. Could get a little crazy if you have a bunch of channels on your chart, you know, so you got to be careful about that. And we can see that price action was straight down, right? Straight down this downward channel, you know, but it also worked its way along this channel and ended up finding its way back into the upper downward channel. And look at this at the end of the day in the after hours. It decided to use this area, right, in a downward fashion still. So this upper channel, fib channel trend did come into play later on, however you want to look at it. So very interesting stuff. I'm going to keep watching, keep expanding on this idea. It's not a perfect method, right? You have to pay attention. You have to think for yourself while doing this method, right? You gotta just pay attention to some indicators like a stochastic, maybe even an RSI. I don't quite like the RSI overbought and oversold. It could come into play, but just simply looking at a cross up or cross down is good enough for me. The overbought and oversold it can stay overbought and it can stay oversold into the future. That's what I'm trying to get at. So we had a whole lot of sideways motion here, but like I said, crazy people gamble on the end of the day, so you got to be careful on people trying to mirror trades like that. Stick to a plan, keep to a plan, and eventually you might find a decent way to trade the charts. But I'm really liking this way and how it's feeling.